Welcome to our new virtual meetup. Today we talk about building customer care solutions using conversational AI. My name is Gautam Sivaj. I am a distinguished technical specialist by Open Group and a principal technology leader at IBM. What is conversational AI? Conversational AI refers to artificial intelligence technologies like chatbots, virtual agents, which users can talk to. They use large volume of data, machine learning, and natural language processing, which are components of conversational AI, to help imitate human interactions, recognize speech and text inputs, and then translate their meanings across various languages.
So let's see what kind of virtual assistant we would build today. Let's say I go here, type something like tell me about the safest systems in the world. The result is Telum is the IBM's first processor that contains on-chip acceleration for AI inferencing while a transaction is taking place, and it's built by IBM for mainframe computers and announced in 2021. Now let me go there and ask something like I want to transfer say $5,000 to my granny, and I press enter. So here I see when do you want to get the funds by, and I say let's say misspell the spelling and say by tomorrow. So you see the spelling check is done by itself to confirm you want. And now I change my mind and say something like make it make it 90 grand and say enter. So this is called slot filling when we are not going back to question number one, and you'll see how we did it in upcoming demo. And let's say I say yes here, and it gives me the website to continue, and I click here and I go on my website. So these are a couple things that we'll learn to do today, and thank you for joining, and let's get started.
Let's go to our agenda. In this virtual meetup, we will discuss about business use case, MVP scope, a demo, and frequently asked questions. Before we move on to our agenda, I would like to talk about our recent launch of IBM Z16. IBM Z. Now, what is IBM Z? IBM Z is the most secureable hardware platform on the market for Linux and cloud workloads. It has several security features and capabilities, all of which are superior than its competition. Workload isolation for say, integration crypto hardware, key encryption and management, data encryption and privacy, network encryption, secure execution for Linux, time source security. These are all security capabilities that come with Z systems. There are several software security measures from IBM and others that can be added to the IBM Z hardware to make it more secure from a software perspective. The IBM Z16 features the integrated accelerator for AI that offers a capability of in-transactional fraud detection with up to 2 times more throughput than earlier systems. Another feature of IBM Z16 is a single processor capacity, which is 11% greater than its predecessor. IBM Z16s offer 17% more capacity than the largest Z15 available. You can enable multi-threading technology capability, which improves 25% capacity performance-wise compared to without the multi-threading function enabled. IBM Z16 launch has got an eye from market leaders who are looking for modernizing the hybrid cloud and AI with a powerful and secure Linux platform for business. Why Linux on IBM Z is the cloud you want? This is because there are multiple Linux distributions available per se, Red Hat, SUSE, and Ubuntu.
Now we have all seen that during pandemic work from home became a norm. Virtualized machines then have paved a way for the smooth transition. Not only you get compute power from VMs, but also the access to the organization's environment remotely.
The virtualization technology like LPAR, KVM, and containerization is available on systems with on IBM Z systems with Linux. The IBM software, ISV software, and open source software are available on these IBM Z systems with Linux. This is the most secure and reliable server technology. And when it comes to what are the choices or options of open source software, there are Linux community versions, networking and monitoring, cloud and container services, along with several languages and runtime supported, with DevOps automation, big data, databases and storage, middleware, and others. Basically, whatever you need to build an enterprise software for your company. To talk about client stories, there's multinational financial services company that applies AI to improve loan processes in banking sector. The challenge was the client achieved minimized loan defaults through early fraud identification and an accelerated credit approval process. The improved customer service and profitability. How this technology delivered value? So, whenever a statistician builds a model, they can infuse AI in the credit approval process for loan application in the banking department. Any machine learning model that you train on cloud can be deployed on ZOS. A unique integrated in transaction scoring with existing business rules have been really helpful. The time to value in transaction scoring completed in microseconds.
Now let's talk about our business use case today. So over here in this demonstration, we would cover the challenges faced by banking industry upon users returning after COVID-19. So currently, your organization internal help desk handles 65,000 calls per month using a chatbot. The current solution has a limited capability, and the bank is looking to reduce the spike in volumes anticipated with the return to work. And they also wants to cut the costs, be able to provide better services of actions like transferring funds, etc. The outcome of this current MVP is shown using Watson Virtual Agent that it can supplement existing help desk to provide query support that a company needs. There is a potential on how the organization's current knowledge base can also be accessed or included to improve and provide another level of support.
In the scope of this MVP, users can find information and direction on transferring funds to another entity. Marketing department can also look for information on minimum budget requirements for running advertisement campaigns. Over here, you'll see user interactions with the assistant through a web conversational widget.
We will also show the application calls Watson Assistant that is hosted on IBM Cloud, and Watson Assistant can also make API requests to cloud functions to self-serve technical issues. Watson Assistant also provide relevant information for frequently asked questions to the users through conversations. In the future vision for this MVP, users can interact with the assistant through different channels using Teams, voice, and other text and web channels. The solution can further integrate to other applications to progress more complex automations. It can surface and search through the knowledge base to bring the right document and to provide relevant information to the users using Watson Discovery. Now let's move on to our demo. Today we'll talk about conversational AI and how it helps organizations engage customers and deliver success. Conversational AI refers to technologies like chatbots, virtual agents, elements that users can talk to. We build the data needed for any type of conversational AI and reduce the number of incoming calls to live agents up to 68%. If you look at Watson AI Assistant, a AI chatbot, it's easy to use and it's 14.7% more accurate. Watson AI Assistant is an adaptable AI chatbot that gets it right the first time. It learns 50 times faster than other comparable solutions available in market. The intent detection algorithm is 79% more accurate when it comes to answering customer requests. Now let's take a deep dive onto what AI chatbot can do for us. With IBM Watson Assistant, you can get started for free. All you have to do is
set up your account and provide your account information, sign up using an email, and then verify it, provide your personal information, attend to the account notice, and then continue. In my case, I have an IBM Cloud account, so I just go here and provide my login ID. Now, conversational AI combines natural language processing with machine learning, and the NLP or natural language processing processes flow into a constant feedback loop with machine learning processes to continuously improve the AI algorithm. You can use it for multiple things. You can use it as an intelligent virtual assistant. You can use it to offer personalized self-service to customers, or provide better customer services, monitor real-time visitor AI, or any human harmony. Now we see this create assistant option here. This is the starting screen where we have the assistant name as Agent Carter, descriptions communication with bot with chat, and an assistant language is English. You could choose your language, name your assistant, learn about what's an assistant, just a small tutorial about what it can do, and then create your first action here.
So this starting screen, when you land in the product for the first time, you're greeted with this home experience that walks you through how to actually set up your first assistant. And so to start, here what we really need to do is just create our first action. And an action is really a topic that the assistant can handle. So so if you think of any action, say let's say you want to transfer some money or you want to start an application, that's where you'll go. So let's say I want to transfer money to my employee. So let's say I want to transfer $1,000 to my employee. That's where we go. So when you provide this sentence, it actually trains the AI under the covers to recognize and to recognize similar requests to this one, and you can give it multiple requests. But over here, we are just going to start with one example. That's good enough to get us going, and then once we have built the first example interaction, the rest of the steps that user would need to go through, to get the end of the actions. Let's say my follow-up question is, when do you want to get the funds? Now I'll define the customer response, go to options, as buttons enable customers to select from different choices. Now I want to gather the date for the transfer amounts. And when it all goes in, we'll transfer them to the app contextually so that they can finish the transfer case and everything else in the part to start with. And as an answer, we are looking for a date. So when you ask a question, when do you want to get the funds? We're looking for a date, a simple experience, a lot easier for a content focused person to come in here, write their content, and get the job done quickly. Now I had to go to another step and need to know how much currency they are looking to transfer. So I put in how much do you want to transfer. In general, the answer is in form of a currency. Now it's always a best practice to confirm before you move forward with the transaction. The next step, so just to confirming how much you want to transfer and when do you want to do it. You can format the variable values over here. And you can provide another variable is on the date. When do you want to get your funds? There is some UI designing you can do here just to highlight the amount and the date. And the general response to this confirmation is we are looking for either a yes or a no. So just two options. So we go to options as yes and no. We can also add synonyms to Y and not. I'll click on apply. So from here we need conditional logic. So we put another step with conditions. For yes, we need to define the conditional logic as yes. For each path we would like to create that conditional logic for branching most conversations, we need to add conditions. So you can see this is auto-populated. Finishing statement, awesome. This is, let's, now I'd give a text from assistant to finish, to provide finishing here. So awesome, let's finish the transfer in the app. And then click here to continue. Just giving a link for say the website of the bank. Now let's continue to the next step and action. Now we defined a condition where we know with conditions the answer is yes. Now let's take another new step where the condition is equals to no. So with conditions the answer is no. And then we can ask to repeat all these steps. So let's start again. So we can say let's start again, continue to the next step, is re-ask previous steps, and then select all of them, apply. Once we have done this, I'll just go ahead and save it. Now I'll go to preview my chat assistant. Welcome, how can I assist you? And I'll type, I want to transfer $1,000 to my employee. So here, when do you want to get the funds? And it's recognized. So I say day after tomorrow. Gives me to confirm you want to transfer $1,000 on April 9, 2022, and I type yes. And then it'll take me to my website. So now you have seen that our conversational AI chatbot works, but imagine for a moment the realities of human conversation kicks in. And in this case, we start with, I want to transfer and then upon going to the next step, say how much I want to transfer and when do you want to get the funds. And in this case, let's say someone's sharing a whole lot of information and making these differences from the script provided. Let's say someone says, I want to transfer $1,500 to my relative. Then you'll see the AI assistant skips 2 steps and right away jumps into the confirmation piece. And this is called slot filling. This is the best in segment that Watson Conversational AI provides. Now let's say users make changes here, say 14.99 into it, or 1500 in a day, or 14.99. Now, this keeps changing, so you can see it's very fluid. So that's another awesome thing that the Watson Conversational AI can provide. So now we have seen one step in action, and let's preview multiple. I would click another action and ask for how much funds are required to run ads on this website, and I'll save it. So once the customer asks the questions, the assistant gives a reply. The minimum budget required to run ads is, let's say, $5, and then it's end the action here. I say use some phrase like funds and transfer, and then save it. So website on the preview page is an inline website, and it's an inline preview, which you can also copy the link to share with your colleagues and coworkers, just to get the feedback on how your virtual assistant look like. The reality of conversation is that you need to expect the unexpected big things. So let's say there might be some users who would come in and type something as vague as transfer. These things can confuse the systems, but if you see over here, you get choices like, did you mean transfer the funds, and how much funds are required to run the ads? So these two things it's picking up. And if you, let's say if you talk about a limit, and it does not get an answer, then there's always a question mark where it can always connect you to a live agent, or just give you other options to choose from. So as you see, there is another component to this, the analytics piece, where you're able to see number of unique users, you are able to see conversations, requests, and how often our assistance actions are completed, and you can see the frequency here daily. You can see view completions, how often your recognized actions are completed, transfer funds, how much funds are required. There are these cool analytics that can help you grow from a customer care point of view, where you're aware of all the requests and all the actions. Well, that concludes our demo today, and now we'll move on to some frequently asked questions. The top question we received is, about on-chip inferencing support provided by the Talon chip as a natural selling point for those clients in financial industry, but what about other industries? So this is related to IBM Z systems. So the answer to this is Watson machine learning components and DB2 for IBM ZOS SQL data insights are some technologies that will take advantage of new integrated AI Talent chip, and these can be used by multiple and many industries. Another top question we received is that there is a claim around training anywhere for AI models and then deploy on Z. Does that mean that what does that mean? And is it too expensive to do the training on Z or on Linux on Z? So, to answer that, train anywhere should and can include IBM Z. The point is that clients that have very large existing investments in training platforms today, and many are on different platforms, will be able to leverage those investments and still get benefit from deploying models on Z for inference. And a third question we have received is around the IBM Deep Learning Compiler being a chargeable product. So IBM Deep Learning Compiler is intended to be part of Watson Machine Learning on IBM ZOS as an over-the-counter product, and there's also a community edition available featuring a subset of capabilities. We're also making a compiler containing images available through the IBM Z and Linux One container image registry for Linux use. It will be available at no charge and with a support offering. So customers can start with Watson Machine Learning, ZOS Community Edition as well. So this is good starting point for IBM ZOS clients rather than using the standalone compiler. Now, fourth question we've received is if clients are using Python for their AI, how could their feature help? And how it is that invoked assuming they are running on IBM Z Linux. So to answer that, when clients use Python for their AI models, or let's say AI Python packages, these models can be converted to Onyx and then compiled with IBM Deep Learning Compiler to generate a Z-optimized executable that leverages the IBM Z integrated accelerator for AI. And in addition, for machine learning models, our clients can take advantage of our machine learning optimized libraries such as SnapML to benefit from the acceleration benefits provided by the ZNext AI accelerator. And then there is another question around what is SnapML. So SnapML is IBM Snap machine learning, a library that provides for high-speed execution of popular machine learning models. It allows a customer to develop, train, and deploy highly accurate traditional machine learning models that can leverage the best infrastructure optimizations on IBM Z. So SnapML has been designed to address some of the biggest challenges that companies and practitioners face when applying machine learning to real use case. Snap Machine Learning will be available in Cloud Pak for Data on Z and on IBM Z16 on day one, for Linux on Z through standard Python package installer at no additional charge, featuring an easy to learn interface. SnapML is also available on other platforms. Tree-based models such as Random Forest and Decision Tree will leverage the ZNext integrated accelerator for AI for model inference. This machine learning library was developed by IBM Research and features APIs that are very similar to those used in popular tools like scikit-learn, LightJPM, XGBoost, and in addition, SnapML is capable to directly accelerate models developed and trained in these frameworks when converted to either PMML, Onyx, or JSON formats. They can be loaded into SnapML. So, if there are any further questions from our viewers, please feel free to put that in comments, and we'd be happy to take a look and answer them. But most of all, I would like to thank all of you for joining me today, and with such an overwhelming response, and can't thank you enough. And looking forward to meet you again in another upcoming meetup. Please do share your comments. Thank you.